Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, we find ourselves in the land of Compania, where you'll be a proprietor building your company with a team of employees and a fleet of ships to become the wealthiest in the land by using hidden dice placement to send your workers out to accomplish goals, buying more land, developing factories, and creating a network of airships to move your goods. Compania is for 1 to 6 players, takes 60 to 90 minutes to play, is for ages 10 and up, and published by Level 99 Games. Now it's being crowdfunded right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works and I'll see you on the other side. This is a crowdfunding preview, so all the art and components you see here are not final. These are prototypes. To see all the most up-to-date art and components, check the link in the description of this video. In Compania, you're trying to have the most kilogold, which is the currency in the game. Now each player has their own setup where they have a place to track all their resources from machines, electricity, and crystal, and where they're going to be secretly deploying ships that will transport their workers out to different spots on the board. Now the game is played over 9 rounds. Each round goes through 4 different phases. The first phase is the planning phase, where secretly we're going to deploy ships, each of those dice is one of those, onto this board, and this corresponds with the large game board. So for example, A through F, 1 through 9, corresponds with the tiles A through F and 1 through 9. Now each round a new tile is going to be coming out to give you more options. This is the first round, so just that first tile is there. Now at the beginning of the game, each player starts with this counters at 5, and this allows you to put a total of 5 on your ships behind your shield. Now most of this game is played simultaneous, so everyone is going to be, at the same time, placing their dice, their ships, behind their shields. Now remember, you can go up to 5, so I could have one ship going to A, which is going to bring basically 5 workers there. Or maybe I want to place 4 there and 1 in this spot here, the E spot. Or maybe I want to put 3 at the top and then 1 in the other 2. Again, I can't go higher than 5. And right now I only have 3 ships. Later on you can get more. Now once everyone's done, everyone will reveal by lifting their shields up so everyone can see it. And then you're going to place the amount of cubes, which are workers, in the spots denoted by those pips. So it might look something like this. Then we're going to look for each tile, and the one that has the most workers, we're going to put them in the gear illustration. Now that's showing who has control of that tile, and sometimes it's a tie, so there might be more than one player there. Then you're going to go to the second phase, which is the area phase, and here you're going to go through the different tiles, and the players that are in control are going to be able to take the special action of that tile. Now it's easiest to kind of do them in order, just so you don't forget who's done what. So for example, the red player here, they're in sole control. They solely control this because they're the only one doing it. They're going to get to do this action, which in this case is getting 2 machines, and they would put that up on their resource board. Now this is a controlled area for both black and red because they tied, so they're both going to be able to do this, which essentially is getting 2 electricity on their resource board, and so on and so forth. Now the white player controls this. They're going to be able to get another die from the storage section of the board. As denoted here, they'll place this behind their shield. Now remember, they're still limited to the amount of pips they can do totally, but now this will allow them to go to maybe different and more tiles. Now this is the tile, the labor bureau, that allows you to increase the amount of pips that you can do. So both the black and the blue player got to move 1 on this track, and now they can have a total of 6 on their pips in the next round. Now this is a way to get building cards, taking 2 and then discarding 1 from your hand. We're going to talk about building cards in just a moment. That's how you run different aspects of your company. And remember, different tiles are going to be coming out each round. Here, the white player gets to get 4 electricity on their resource board, for example. Then we're going to go to the company phase, where you're going to be doing different things like constructing buildings, doing revenue actions, and investment actions. Now generally speaking, you can do as many of these as you can afford, except for the investment. We'll go over that later. Here, you can construct. In this case, I could pay 2 machines and 1 crystal, which I do have from this round. And I can place this card and I can build it. Now, once per round, if I have enough to take a revenue action on this card, I could take it. And you can only do that once for each card that you have out there. I don't have any left, but let's just assume I did. If I had a machine and a crystal left like this, I could spend them to now take a revenue action for this card, which is the amusement park. And here I'm going to get 13 kilogolds, which again is the currency in the game, and that's how you win, because you'd add up the 7 and the 6. Now instead of building something, like paying all these resources, building it separately, you could do it for an extension. You still would pay the normal building costs, which of course I don't have right now, but if I did, I could then slide this under here, assuming that it has the same icon. And now, in a future round, if I took a revenue action, because remember, you can only take that action once per card, I would now get 7 plus 6 plus 10, so I would get 23. So it's a little bit more efficient a way of getting the killer golds there. Now these are considered transaction cards. There's also some called area cards, and those look like this. Now here, once you've paid for it to build it, you then automatically can do a revenue action on this during this company phase, and you don't have to pay anything else. For every area that I control, I'm going to get a kilo gold, for example. Or sometimes for every area that I solely control, I mean I don't tie, it's 4. So there's different ones like that that help you get gold that way. Now the investment action during the company phase is the only one that you can only do once. And you can either make a new investment, which is like this. I put one of my cubes there. Any number of players can put their cube here, but only 1 cube of each color per tile. But here I would do this, and I would spend 5 kilo gold, and then this tells you when you can use it. In the planning phase, I would roll a die, and if I get 3 or more, I can get one of those 2 resources. Or in a future round, instead of making a new investment, and that would either have to be on a new tile, or I can also change an investment instead. So here I could change it to here. I'd still have to pay the 8, and now at the beginning of that phase, I would roll. If I get 4 more, I'd get a crystal. Or if I was on this, I would have had to have paid 11 to make that investment. If I rolled a 5 or more, I would get 2 building cards and such. So this tells you when you can do it. This tells you what you're doing. But again, you can only have 1 cube in each tile, but multiple players can have cubes on the same spot. Now these investment tiles, there's plenty of each of these colors in the box, and so you randomly assign them each game, so you have different abilities that you can use each game. Now I'm not gonna go over all of them, but I just want to show you that some of them are all the time. So like in the area phase, anytime you get this resource, you get another one if you solely control that area. So again, I'm not going to go over the abilities, but they're always different. They trigger different phases. Sometimes you can do as many times as you want. Sometimes you can't. It just depends on the time. And some of these trigger at the end of the round phase, where you'd be able to discard a card to get certain resources and stuff. And speaking of the end round phase, after the company phase, you go to the end round phase. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, is that all the cubes that are in the control area get returned to the players. And what that means is that if you placed workers out to a place, but you didn't control it, meaning you didn't get the benefit of the special action of that tile, next round you're in a better position. So blue's in a better position to possibly control this round, so you never sort of lose workers unless you've actually been able to activate that tile. And you'll do that for all of the tiles, so even this one would have come off as well. And remember, at the beginning of each round, new buildings are coming out. I'm going to be doing all sorts of different things, like, hey, you can convert this or this into this, max 3 times if you have that action. There's all different abilities that will come out, and it's randomized throughout the game. So again, you're gonna have different engines to kind of figure out how they interconnect each game. Some of them might even do things like, hey, whatever the round number is, times 2, that's how many kilo gold you get. Or like double your resources in either machines or electricity. Now you'll continue this to the end of the 9th round. At the end of the 9th round, you'll look at the sponsor card. Now this was here randomly at the beginning of the game, and this says at the end of the final round, gain 6 kilo gold for each crystal you have for a max of 30. And this is going to change sort of an end game goal for each game. Now speaking of these sponsor cards, there's also an advanced way to play the game, where at the beginning of the game, each player gets 2 sponsor cards and 2 company cards. They get to keep 1 of each, and you're trying to sort of combo them together. The company card gives you something immediately, like 9 of the currency of the kilo gold, but also an ability, like in the company phase, each time you make an investment, you can change that investment on that tile for free. So you might go for the easiest investment and then change it to the better one for free. And then my end game goal here, this should also be secret, at the end of the final round, total amount you currently have invested on investment tiles divided by 2 I get. So you can kind of try to combo together and get yourself some starting strategy to go for as well. And that gives you a high level overview of Compania. Well, there you have Compania, and as I showed in the overview, there's simultaneous play, removing downtime, secret ship deployment with dice, area control, resource management, and comboing investment abilities. Now, if you'd like to see the most up-to-date art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link in the description right below me, and that will bring you directly to the crowdfunding project page, and I'm sure that Level 99 Games would love your support.